Blood drips from her blade as she stands over the bodies of the elite warriors who once called her worthless. The same men who had mocked her weakness now lay defeated at her feet, a testament to how far she had come from being the timid village healer they used to ridicule. But her transformation from a gentle soul to the most feared warrior in the 5 kingdoms came at a price that would haunt her forever. In the mist-shrouded village of Ravenspire, where ancient stone buildings huddle against the cold mountain winds, Maya tends to a young boy's broken arm in her small healing chamber. Her gentle hands work with practiced precision as she sets the bone, her long dark hair tied back with worn leather strips. The boy whimpers, but Maya's soft voice soothes him. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in enduring pain, little one. The irony of her words isn't lost on her. At 25, Maya has spent her life being called weak by the warrior caste that dominates Ravenspire. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow, I've saved something extra special for you. The Healer's Quarter, tucked away in the poorest section of the village, is her sanctuary, the only place where her gentle nature is seen as an asset rather than a weakness. As she finishes bandaging the boy's arm, the door bursts open. 2 members of the warrior caste stride in, their ceremonial armor gleaming in the dim candlelight. The smaller of the 2, Caney, sneers at her handiwork. Still playing with herbs and bandages, Maya? Your father would be ashamed to see his only child chose the path of a coward. Maya's hands tremble slightly, but she keeps her voice steady. Healing takes as much courage as fighting, Caney. My father understood that before he fell. She helps the boy down from the treatment table, watching him scurry past the warriors. The larger warrior, Commander Thane, steps forward. His scarred face shows no emotion as he speaks. The council requires your presence at sunset. The war with the Shadowlands approaches, and all citizens must be evaluated for their role in the coming conflict. Maya's heart sinks. The evaluation is a formality. Everyone knows healers are considered too weak for combat roles. They'll assign her to tend to the elderly and children who can't fight, marking her once again as one of the useless ones. Later that evening, as Maya walks through the torchlit streets toward the council chambers, whispers follow her like shadows. The warrior caste's disdain for healers has grown stronger since news of the Shadowlands' aggression reached their borders. In times of war, their society values strength above all else. The Great Hall falls silent as Maya enters. 7 council members sit at their elevated seats, their faces stern in the flickering light. Among them is Caney's father, Lord Darius, whose contempt for the healing arts is legendary. His wife died under a healer's care years ago, and he's never forgiven their entire caste. Maya of the Healing Quarter. Lord Darius's voice echoes through the chamber. Step forward and be evaluated. She stands before them, trying to keep her chin high despite the weight of their judgment. The tests are simple but humiliating. Lifting weights she can barely move, demonstrating combat stances she was never trained in, answering questions about battle strategy she never learned. As she struggles through each task, laughter ripples through the watching crowd. Caney's voice rings out above the others. Look how she trembles. And this is the daughter of the great warrior Garrett? He must be spinning in his grave. The words cut deep. Her father had been one of Ravenspire's most celebrated warriors before falling in battle 12 years ago. His only child choosing to become a healer rather than a warrior had been seen as an insult to his memory. Lord Darius raises his hand for silence. We have seen enough. Maya of the Healing Quarter, you are deemed unfit for any combat role. You will be assigned to the refugee caves tending to those who cannot fight. Perhaps there your gentle nature will be of some use. As Maya leaves the great hall, her cheeks burning with shame, she hears quick footsteps behind her. It's her childhood friend Lyra, one of the few warrior caste members who still speaks to her. Maya, wait! Lyra catches up, her warrior's training evident in her graceful movements. Don't let them break you. War is coming, and they don't understand that strength takes many forms. But Maya barely hears her friend's words. Something has shifted inside her, a small spark of defiance igniting in her chest. As she watches the warrior caste members training in the courtyard, their movements precise and deadly, A decision forms in her mind. She would prove them all wrong, but not in the way they expect. The path ahead would change her forever, starting with a secret she'd discovered in her father's old journals, one that would shake the foundations of everything her society believed about true strength. In the days following her humiliation at the council chambers, Maya immerses herself in her normal routine, though nothing feels normal anymore. Her healing chamber, once a sanctuary, now feels like a prison of others' expectations. The morning brings a steady stream of patients, miners with crushed fingers, children with fever, and elderly with aching joints, all while warriors train in the courtyard outside her window, their steel singing in the crisp mountain air. Between treating patients, Maya's fingers trace the worn leather binding of her father's journal, hidden beneath healing texts on her shelves. Late at night, after her last patient leaves, she pulls it out and reads by candlelight. The journal speaks of ancient techniques that blended healing arts with combat, forbidden knowledge that died with the old masters. Her father had discovered these secrets but died before he could reveal them to anyone. The body's meridians, one passage reads, are not just channels of healing but rivers of power. Those who understand both healing and combat can manipulate these channels, turning an opponent's strength against them. This is why the ancient orders never separated healers from warriors. Maya tests these theories in secret, late at night in her back room. She practices touching specific pressure points on a wooden dummy, combining her healer's knowledge of anatomy with the combat positions she's observed from the warriors. Her fingers, skilled at setting bones and stitching wounds, learn to strike with precision. During the day, she maintains her facade. When Caney and his warriors bring their minor training injuries to her, she tends to them with apparent submission. "Still playing your little healing games?" he mocks, as she wraps his sprained wrist. Maya says nothing, but notices how his chi flows through the meridian points her father's journal described. One precise strike could send him to his knees. But the time isn't right. Her friend Lyra visits more frequently now, concerned about Maya's increased isolation. "The war preparations are intensifying," Lyra tells her one evening, helping to organize healing herbs. "The Shadowlands have taken 3 border villages. Their warriors use strange techniques we've never seen before." Maya listens intently while grinding herbs, her mind connecting patterns. The Shadowlands' fighting style, according to Lyra's descriptions, sounds remarkably similar to the techniques in her father's journal. Could there be a connection? Her research deepens. She discovers hidden compartments in her father's old chest, containing scrolls written in ancient script. Late into the night, she decodes them, learning that her father had been part of a secret society that preserved the old ways. Warriors who healed, healers who fought. The society had been scattered years ago by those who feared their power, driven into hiding in places like the Shadowlands. One morning, while gathering herbs in the forest beyond the village walls, Maya encounters an elderly woman she's never seen before. The woman's eyes are sharp despite her bent frame, and she watches Maya collect healing plants with unusual interest. "You sort the herbs like a warrior would arrange their weapons," the woman observes, her voice carrying an accent Maya can't place. "Your father taught you well, though he didn't live to complete your training." Maya freezes, her basket of herbs clutched tight. "You knew my father?" The old woman's smile reveals teeth stained with herbs Maya recognizes from the Shadowlands. "I knew of him, and of the knowledge he sought to preserve, the same knowledge you now seek in his journals." Before Maya can respond, horns blare from the village walls, the signal for an approaching threat. The old woman melts into the forest shadows with surprising agility, leaving Maya with one whispered phrase: "Seek the cave of midnight blooms when the moon is full. Your true training awaits." Maya hurries back to find the village in chaos. A Shadowland scouting party has been spotted near their borders. Warriors rush to their positions while civilians hurry to the safety of their homes. As she passes the training grounds, she overhears Lord Darius speaking urgently with his commanders. "Their warriors disabled our entire border patrol without drawing blood," he says, his voice tense with fear. "They used some sort of dark art, striking pressure points that left our men paralyzed." Maya's hand tightens around her father's journal, hidden in her healer's satchel. The connection is undeniable now. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The Shadowlands warriors are using the same techniques her father had discovered. As she watches the warriors prepare for war, their traditional combat methods suddenly seem primitive compared to the ancient knowledge she's begun to uncover. That night, Maya stands at her window, watching the moon rise over the mountains. The full moon is 3 days away. In her hand she holds a midnight bloom, a rare herb that only grows in one cave system near the village. Her decision crystallizes like frost on the window pane. She'll seek out this mysterious training, even if it means being branded a traitor. The path ahead is dangerous, but she's tired of being seen as weak. What she doesn't know is that her decision will set in motion events that will shake the Five Kingdoms to their core and transform her in ways that will both fulfill and haunt her. The gentle healer who steps into that cave 3 nights later will emerge as something else entirely, something that will make even her greatest mockers tremble. The Cave of Midnight Blooms stands like a gaping wound in the mountainside, its entrance partially hidden behind a curtain of phosphorescent fungi. Maya arrives as the full moon reaches its apex, her healer's satchel containing her father's journal, basic medical supplies, and enough provisions for 2 days. The night air carries the sweet, intoxicating scent of the midnight blooms, flowers that only open their petals under the full moon's light. Inside the cave, blue-tinted crystals embedded in the walls provide an eerie illumination. Maya follows their glow deeper into the mountain's heart, her footsteps echoing off ancient stone. The path descends steeply, becoming narrower until it opens into a vast underground chamber. There, among clusters of midnight blooms, stands the elderly woman from the forest, now dressed in dark robes adorned with unfamiliar symbols. "I am Mistress Chen," the woman announces, her voice carrying a weight of authority that makes Maya straighten instinctively. "I was once keeper of the forbidden arts in the Shadowlands, before greed and fear drove our order apart. Your father sought our knowledge, hoping to reunite the arts of healing and combat. His death was not an accident." The revelation hits Maya like a physical blow. "Who killed him?" "Those who fear what they cannot control," Mistress Chen replies cryptically. "The same ones who now label you weak. But weakness and strength are illusions. True power lies in understanding the flow of life itself." She approaches Maya with fluid grace that belies her apparent age. "Show me your hands." Maya extends her hands, calloused from years of grinding herbs and setting bones. Mistress Chen examines them carefully, pressing specific points that send tingling sensations up Maya's arms. "Good. Your healing work has made them sensitive to the body's energy flows. Now you must learn to manipulate these flows, to heal and to harm." The training begins immediately. Mistress Chen shows Maya how to channel her qi, life energy, through meridian points. The technique requires perfect precision. A millimeter's difference can mean the distinction between healing and devastating damage. They practice on training dummies equipped with copper wires that mark the energy channels. "Your healer's knowledge gives you an advantage," Mistress Chen explains, guiding Maya's strikes. "You understand the body's weaknesses because you've spent years mending them. Now you must learn to exploit them." Hours pass like minutes. Maya's arms ache, her fingers throb, but she persists. Each successful strike produces a satisfying hum from the copper wires, confirming proper contact with the meridian points. When she finally stops, the moon has set, and dawn approaches. "Return tomorrow night," Mistress Chen commands. "Tell no one. The warriors of your village would not understand what we do here. They believe strength flows only from the sword, not realizing that the greatest weapons are invisible." Maya races back to her healing chamber before sunrise, arriving just as her first patients begin to appear. She works through the day in a daze, her mind replaying Mistress Chen's teachings. When Caney arrives with his usual swagger for treatment of a training injury, Maya sees his meridian points glowing like constellation patterns beneath his skin, a side effect of her awakening abilities. That evening, Lord Darius calls an emergency council meeting. Maya attends as the healer's representative, standing quietly in the back as the council discusses disturbing reports. More border villages have fallen to the Shadowlands, their warriors disabled by mysterious techniques that leave no visible wounds. They're using some form of dark magic, one commander insists, his face pale with fear. Our strongest warriors fall without a single sword stroke. Maya listens intently, understanding now what's really happening. The Shadowlands warriors are using the same techniques she's beginning to learn, targeting pressure points to disrupt chi flow. Her knowledge could help defend against these attacks, but revealing it would expose her secret training. As the meeting concludes, Lyra pulls her aside. "You seem different today," her friend observes. "There's something in your eyes." Maya makes excuses about trying new healing techniques, but Lyra's warrior instincts sense the partial truth. That night, Maya returns to the cave. Mistress Chen greets her with a new challenge, live pressure point practice. "You must learn to feel the energy flows in a living body," she explains. "I will attack. You will defend using only your knowledge of meridian points." The session is brutal. Every time Mistress Chen's fingers strike a pressure point, Maya experiences either searing pain or localized paralysis. But with each failure, she learns. Her healer's intuition combines with her new knowledge, helping her anticipate strikes by reading subtle shifts in body tension. By the session's end, Maya succeeds in blocking 3 of Mistress Chen's attacks, and even manages to partially paralyze her teacher's left arm. The old woman's eyes gleam with approval. "Good. You begin to understand. But remember, this knowledge comes with a price. Once you walk this path to its end, you can never return to who you were." As Maya makes her way home through the pre-dawn darkness, she realizes she's already past the point of no return. The gentle healer she once was is dying, giving birth to something new, something that makes her both exhilarated and afraid. 2 weeks into her secret training, Maya's double life begins to take its toll. Dark circles rim her eyes and her hands occasionally tremble from exhaustion. By day, she maintains her role as the timid healer, tending to the village's ailments. By night, under Mistress Chen's ruthless tutelage, she learns to turn healing knowledge into a weapon. During a particularly busy morning, a commotion erupts outside her healing chamber. A group of warriors carries in one of their own, his body rigid and face contorted in agony. Maya recognizes him as Soren, one of their best scouts. Commander Thane follows them in, his face grave. "He encountered Shadowlands warriors near the eastern ridge," Thane explains. "When he returned, he could barely speak. Then his body seized up like this." Maya examines Soren, immediately recognizing the signs of targeted pressure point strikes. His chi pathways are completely blocked, causing his muscles to spasm and lock. Thanks to her training with Mistress Chen, she knows exactly how to help him, but revealing this knowledge would raise dangerous questions. She makes a show of checking conventional symptoms while secretly pressing specific release points, gradually restoring his chi flow. Within minutes, Soren's body relaxes, and he gasps for air like a drowning man breaking the surface. "How did you do that?" Commander Thane demands, his eyes narrowing with suspicion. "Our other healers said nothing could be done." "I've been studying ancient texts about muscle seizures," Maya lies smoothly, the deception tasting bitter on her tongue. "Sometimes the old ways work best." That evening, during training, Maya tells Mistress Chen about the incident. The old woman's face darkens. "The Shadowlands warriors are growing bolder. They're not just testing defenses anymore. They're sending a message. War is coming sooner than expected." Their training intensifies. Mistress Chen teaches Maya how to strike multiple pressure points in rapid succession, creating cascading failures in an opponent's chi network. "But remember," she warns, "these techniques can kill if used improperly. The same knowledge that heals can destroy." Late one night, while practicing a particularly complex sequence of strikes, Maya hears footsteps approaching the cave. She and Mistress Chen quickly extinguish their lights and hide in a natural alcove. 2 figures enter, Kaney and another warrior Maya doesn't recognize. They carry torches and wear the expressions of men hoping to catch prey. "I'm telling you, I saw someone coming up here," Kaney whispers. And that useless healer has been acting strange lately. Lord Darius wants to know why she was able to help Soren when no one else could. Maya's heart pounds as they pass near her hiding spot. One wrong move, one caught breath, and they'll discover her. She feels Mistress Chen's hand on her arm, pressing a specific point that helps calm her racing pulse. The warriors eventually leave, but the message is clear. Maya's growing abilities haven't gone unnoticed. "We must accelerate your training," Mistress Chen declares once they're alone. Events are unfolding faster than anticipated. The next day brings more wounded warriors to Maya's chamber, all bearing the distinctive marks of pressure point attacks. Each time, she helps them while carefully hiding her true knowledge. But with each healing, the suspicious looks from Commander Thane and others grow more intense. During her afternoon herb gathering, Lyra confronts her in the forest. "Maya, what's really going on with you? I've known you since we were children. You're different now, stronger somehow, but also harder." Before Maya can respond, horns blare from the village, but not the usual warning signals. These are the deep, resonant tones that herald the arrival of high-ranking visitors. Both women hurry back to find the village square filled with people. A delegation from the Shadowlands stands in the center, their dark armor adorned with symbols identical to those on Mistress Chen's robes. Their leader, a tall woman with ritual scars on her face, speaks to Lord Darius and the council. "We come with an offer," she announces, her voice carrying across the square. "Surrender your village now, and we will teach you our ways. Resist, and we will use our arts to dismantle your warriors one by one. You have 3 days to decide." Maya watches from the crowd, understanding flooding through her. This isn't just about territorial expansion. The Shadowlands warriors want to restore the ancient order, forcing the unification of combat and healing arts through conquest. That night, when Maya arrives at the cave, she finds Mistress Chen preparing to leave. "The time for hidden training is over," the old woman announces. "You must choose your path now, Maya. The Shadowlands warriors will recognize your abilities. They'll offer you a place among them. Will you join their crusade to restore the old ways? Or will you use what I've taught you to defend your village?" Maya stares at her mentor, the weight of the choice pressing down like a physical force. The path ahead splits in 2 directions, and both lead to outcomes that will forever change who she is. The gentle healer she once was seems like a distant memory now, replaced by someone capable of both mending and breaking the human body. Her decision would have to come soon. Very soon. The 3 days following the Shadowlands ultimatum pass in a blur of tension and preparation. Maya continues her healing duties while secretly practicing the techniques Mistress Chen taught her, knowing that soon she'll have to reveal her abilities, but on her own terms. During an emergency council meeting, Maya stands in her usual corner, listening as Lord Darius and the commanders debate their options. The village's warriors train day and night, but fear haunts their eyes. They know traditional combat skills mean nothing against the Shadowlands' mysterious techniques. "Perhaps we should accept their offer," one council member suggests, earning harsh glares. "Better to learn their ways than die ignorant of them." Lord Darius slams his fist on the table. "We will not surrender our traditions to these dark art practitioners. Our strength has always come from steel and valor, not these cowardly pressure point tricks." Maya almost laughs at the irony. Their most celebrated warrior, her father, had sought these very techniques. But her amusement dies when Commander Thane steps forward, his scarred face tight with suspicion. "My lord, there's something else we must discuss," he announces. "Our healer, Maya, has been exhibiting unusual abilities. She's treating injuries caused by Shadowlands warriors with suspicious ease." All eyes turn to Maya. She feels the weight of their stares, the accumulated prejudice of years. But instead of shrinking back as she once would have, she steps forward, her spine straight. "I can explain," she begins, but Caney cuts her off. "Explain what? How you've been consorting with the enemy?" He turns to the council. "My patrol spotted someone entering the Cave of Midnight Blooms regularly. Tonight we'll catch this spy and—" "You'll catch nothing," Maya interrupts, her voice carrying a new authority that makes several warriors step back. "What you'll find is an empty cave where I've been training to save all of your lives. The room erupts in chaos. Lord Darius rises, his face dark with rage. Training? In what? Instead of answering, Maya approaches a nearby warrior. Attack me, she commands, with your full strength. The warrior looks to Lord Darius, who nods grimly. The man lunges with practiced skill, but Maya's fingers strike 3 precise points on his arm. The limb goes limp instantly. Gasps fill the chamber. The warrior stares at his useless arm in horror. Before anyone can react, Maya touches 2 more points, restoring his mobility. This is what we're facing, she declares. The Shadowlands warriors aren't using dark magic. They're using ancient techniques that combine healing knowledge with combat application. The same techniques my father was researching before his death. Your father was a true warrior, Lord Darius shouts. He would never— My father understood what you refuse to see, Maya cuts him off. True strength doesn't come from separating healing from combat. The ancient orders knew this. That's why the Shadowlands warriors are defeating us so easily. Lyra steps forward, her eyes wide with understanding. This is how you've changed. You've been learning their techniques. Not their techniques. Our ancestral techniques, Maya corrects. The knowledge belonged to all kingdoms once before fear and prejudice drove its practitioners into hiding. Commander Thane draws his sword. Then you admit to being a traitor? I admit to trying to save lives, Maya responds calmly, not flinching from his blade. The Shadowlands warriors are coming, whether you accept their offer or not. I can teach our warriors to defend against their attacks, and maybe even turn their own techniques against them. A tense silence falls. Lord Darius's face contorts with conflicting emotions, the need to defend his village warring with generations of ingrained beliefs. Finally, he speaks. Prove it. Prove you can teach these techniques to others. Maya nods. Choose your best warrior. Give me 1 day with them. To everyone's surprise, Lyra steps forward. I volunteer. The council chamber's clear except for Maya, Lyra, and a handful of observers. Over the next several hours, Maya begins teaching her friend the basic principles of chi manipulation and pressure point strikes. Lyra's warrior training makes her a quick study. By sunset, she successfully demonstrates a simple nerve block on a test dummy. Lord Darius watches it all, his expression unreadable. As night falls, he announces his decision. You have until the Shadowlands delegation returns to teach as many warriors as you can. But know this, if you've led us astray, if this is some trick, you'll be the first to die when they attack. Maya accepts his terms with a calm nod, knowing she's crossed a line that can never be uncrossed. The gentle healer she once was would have flinched at such a threat. But that healer is gone, transformed by Mistress Chen's training and her own determination. As she leaves the council chambers, Maya spots a familiar figure in the shadows, Mistress Chen, watching with approval. The old woman nods once before disappearing into the darkness, leaving Maya to walk her chosen path alone. The next 2 days would test everything she had learned, as she raced to prepare her village for what was coming. But deep inside, Maya knew this was just the beginning. The real challenge would come when the Shadowlands warriors returned and discovered that their monopoly on the ancient techniques had been broken. The next 2 days transformed the warrior training grounds into something unrecognizable. Where once only the clash of steel rang out, now warriors gather in small groups, practicing precise finger strikes and studying anatomy charts Maya has drawn. The integration of healing knowledge with combat techniques progresses faster than she'd hoped, though not without resistance. Caney leads a faction of warriors who refuse to participate, calling it coward's combat. They continue their traditional sword training at the far end of the grounds, shooting venomous glares at Maya's students. But their numbers dwindle as word spreads of the remarkable progress being made. Lyra proves to be Maya's best student, her warrior's discipline combining perfectly with the precision required for pressure point combat. By dawn of the second day, she successfully demonstrates a complex chi blocking sequence that leaves her sparring partner temporarily paralyzed from the waist down. The key is understanding that strength can be redirected, not just opposed, Maya explains to her growing class. A healer knows how energy flows through the body. Now you must learn to disrupt those flows. Commander Thane watches from the sidelines, his scarred face betraying both skepticism and growing interest. During a water break, he approaches Maya. "These techniques," he begins gruffly, "they're similar to what killed your father." Maya meets his gaze steadily. "My father wasn't killed by the techniques. He was killed by those who feared them. There's a difference." Before Thane can respond, a commotion erupts at the training ground's edge. 2 scouts rush in, their faces pale with urgency. They head straight for Lord Darius, who stands observing the training with his arms crossed. "Shadowlands forces," one scout gasps. "They're mobilizing. At least 300 warriors moving through the eastern valleys. They're not waiting for their delegation's return deadline." The news spreads through the training grounds like wildfire. Maya's students look to her with mixture of fear and determination in their eyes. They've learned much, but is it enough? Lord Darius strides to Maya, his face hard. "You said you could prepare us. Are your warriors ready?" "They're your warriors," Maya corrects him firmly. "And they know enough to survive, but we need more time to—" A horn blast cuts her off. Not the deep warning tones, but the higher pitch that signals returning scouts. Moments later, another scout bursts into the training grounds, blood running down his arm from a shallow cut. "They're here," he shouts. "Shadowlands advance forces. They've taken the eastern watchtower." Lord Darius barks orders, mobilizing the warriors into defensive positions. Maya catches Lyra's eye and nods. They've drilled for this. Her best students quickly organize into small units, positioning themselves to support the traditional warriors. "Remember," Maya calls out, her voice carrying across the grounds. "Watch for their strike patterns. They'll target major chi points first. Protect your solar plexus and throat." As warriors rush to their positions, Maya feels a presence behind her. Commander Thane stands there, his sword sheathed. "Show me," he says simply. "Quickly." Maya spends precious minutes showing him the basic defensive positions, surprised by how quickly he grasps the concepts. His years of combat experience let him understand the principles intuitively, even if his fingers lack the precision that comes with practice. The village alarm sounds. 3 long, deep blasts. Shadowlands warriors have been spotted approaching the main gate. Maya races to her position on the wall, heart pounding. Below, she sees them. 50 warriors in dark armor, moving with the fluid grace she recognizes from her training with Mistress Chen. Their leader steps forward, and Maya's breath catches. It's the same scarred woman who delivered the ultimatum, but now she wears battle armor decorated with symbols of the ancient order. "Your deadline has not expired," the woman calls out. "But we've received word of, interesting developments here. Your village harbors one who knows our arts. Surrender them to us and we may show mercy." Maya feels hundreds of eyes turn to her. In that moment, she sees her choices with perfect clarity. She could surrender herself, possibly spare the village, and learn the full depths of the ancient knowledge, or she could stand with her people using what she knows to defend her home. The decision crystallizes as she looks at the faces around her. Lyra's determination, Thane's newfound respect, even Kaney's simmering hatred. These are her people, even those who mocked her. She steps forward to respond, but Lord Darius raises his hand, stopping her. "We know your arts now," he shouts down to the Shadowlands leader. "The knowledge you hoarded has returned to its rightful place among all people." The scarred woman's face contorts with rage. "Then you choose death. Our ancestors wept when this knowledge was scattered. You'll weep harder when we demonstrate its full power." She raises her hand and her warriors surge forward. Maya takes her stance, fingers ready, as the first wave reaches the walls. The clash that follows will determine not just the fate of her village, but the future of the ancient arts themselves. The storm has finally broken and Maya stands at its heart, no longer the weak healer they once mocked. Now she must prove that her new strength can protect as well as destroy. The battle erupts like a thunderstorm breaking. Shadowlands warriors scale the walls with inhuman agility, their fingers seeking vital pressure points as they engage the defenders. Maya's trained warriors meet them with their new skills, creating chaos as ancient techniques clash against ancient techniques. Lyra fights beside Maya, her movements a perfect fusion of traditional combat and pressure point strikes. When a Shadowlands warrior lunges at her throat, she deflects his strike and retaliates with a precise hit to his shoulder junction, instantly paralyzing his right arm. But another enemy takes his place, and another. "They're testing our defenses," Maya shouts over the combat. "Watch for their elite warriors, they'll hold back until they spot weaknesses." As if summoned by her words, a new wave of attackers vaults over the wall. These warriors wear black armor adorned with red symbols, the mark of master practitioners. Their movements flow like liquid shadow, and Maya's heart sinks as she watches 3 of her best students fall in rapid succession, their bodies contorted by expertly targeted chi strikes. The scarred woman, their leader, lands gracefully on the wall near Maya. Up close, her ritual scars form intricate patterns that Maya recognizes from her father's journals, the marks of a grandmaster of the ancient arts. "So," the woman's voice carries despite the battle chaos, "you're the one who dared to teach our sacred techniques. I am Mistress Kira, and I will show you the difference between knowing the forms and mastering the art." She moves like lightning, her fingers striking at Maya's vital points with terrifying precision. Maya barely manages to deflect the first combination, feeling the displaced air brush past her throat. Each attack targets a different meridian cluster, probing for weaknesses in Maya's defense. "Your technique is crude," Kira sneers, landing a glancing blow that sends needles of pain through Maya's left arm. "Who taught you? Some half-trained exile?" Maya doesn't respond, focusing instead on the chi flow patterns she can sense in her opponent. Mistress Chen's training echoes in her mind. Read the energy before the movement, feel the intent before the strike. A pattern emerges in Kira's attacks, a subtle favor of her right side, a barely perceptible delay after certain combinations. Maya waits, enduring the burning pain of near misses and glancing hits, until she spots her opening. When Kira launches another lightning combination, Maya doesn't defend. Instead, she steps into the attack, her fingers finding 3 precise points on Kira's torso. The Grandmaster's eyes widen in shock as her chi network disrupts, sending her stumbling backward. "Impossible," Kira gasps. "That sequence, it's from the Forbidden Scrolls." Maya presses her advantage, striking 2 more points that send Kira to her knees. Around them, the battle pauses as warriors from both sides witness their leader's vulnerability. But Maya's victory is short-lived. Kira laughs, a harsh sound that carries across the battlefield. "Finally, someone worthy." Her hands form a seal Maya doesn't recognize, and suddenly her blocked chi points burst open with explosive force, sending Maya flying backward. "You know the basic forms," Kira rises, her power fully restored. "But the ancient arts have depths you can't imagine. Allow me to demonstrate." What follows is a lesson in humility. Kira's techniques transcend anything Maya has learned. Each strike seems to ignore her defenses, targeting not just physical pressure points, but the very flow of energy through her body. Pain blossoms everywhere and Maya's vision blurs. "Maya!" Lyra's voice cuts through the haze. Her friend tries to intervene, but Kira dismisses her with a casual gesture that leaves her paralyzed. Through her pain, Maya sees more of her warriors falling. The Shadowlands masters systematically dismantle their defenses, their superior training evident in every movement. Even Commander Thane, despite his natural aptitude for the techniques, goes down under a barrage of precision strikes. "Your village's pathetic resistance ends now," Kira declares, preparing a finishing strike. "But you will come with us. We'll teach you the true meaning of the ancient arts, once you've learned proper respect." Maya feels darkness creeping at the edges of her vision. Her body screams in agony where Kira's strikes have disrupted her chi network. But as she watches her people fall, something stirs in her depths, a power she hasn't accessed before. Her father's final journal entry flashes through her mind. The greatest techniques aren't about attacking or defending, they're about understanding the flow of life itself. With her last reserves of strength, Maya presses her own pressure points in a desperate pattern, using her healer's knowledge in a way she never has before. Pain explodes through her system, but with it comes clarity and power. "What are you doing?" Kira's confident expression falters as Maya rises, her chai network blazing with renewed energy. The real battle is about to begin, and Maya finally understands what her father's journals meant about the true nature of power. She takes her stance, ready to show both friend and foe that a healer's knowledge of life can become the deadliest weapon of all. Maya stands transformed, her chi network pulsing with visible energy that makes even the Shadowlands masters step back. The technique she's used, turning her healer's knowledge of revival points against her own body's limitations, is dangerous and unstable, but she feels more alive than ever before. "Impossible," Kira whispers, her scarred face showing genuine fear for the first time. "Those are forbidden techniques. The scrolls were destroyed centuries ago." Maya's voice carries an otherworldly resonance as she responds, "My father didn't find the scrolls. He rediscovered the techniques through healing. True power was never about combat. It was about understanding life itself." She moves with impossible speed, her fingers finding pressure points that Kira can't defend fast enough. Each strike carries the precision of a master healer combined with devastating combat application. Where before she fought defensively, now Maya presses forward with techniques born from years of mending broken bodies. "The same points that heal," Maya declares as Kira stumbles back, "can also destroy." Around them, the battle shifts. The Shadowlands masters abandon their individual fights to converge on Maya, recognizing the greater threat. But Maya's enhanced state lets her see chi flows with perfect clarity, every weakness, every point of vulnerability exposed to her heightened senses. She spins through her attackers like wind through leaves. One master falls, his entire nervous system temporarily shut down. Another drops when Maya targets a complex meridian cluster that controls vital organs. A third screams as she reverses his chi flow completely. Lyra, freed from her paralysis, stares in awe. "How are you doing this?" "She's killing herself," Kira snarls, regaining her composure. "That technique burns through your life force. Even if you defeat us, you won't survive the day." Maya knows it's true. She can feel the technique consuming her from within. But she also sees something else. Patterns in the chi flows around her, connections she never noticed before. The boundary between healing and harm, life and death, blurs in her enhanced perception. Commander Thane, struggling to his feet, sees an opening and rallies the remaining warriors. "Push them back. Support Maya." The village warriors surge forward with renewed hope, using what Maya taught them with desperate effectiveness. Even Kaney and his traditionalists join the fight, their sword techniques adding chaos to the precise chi manipulation battle. But Kira isn't finished. She pulls a small crystal from her armor, deep purple, pulsing with stored energy. "You're not the only one with forbidden knowledge." The crystal shatters in her grip, its power flowing into her body. The two women clash in a display of power that makes both armies fall back. Maya's life force-enhanced techniques meet Kira's crystal-powered strikes in bursts of visible energy. Each exchange sends shockwaves across the battlefield. "You could have been one of us," Kira shouts between exchanges. "We would have taught you everything." "You hoarded knowledge that could have saved lives," Maya responds, landing a strike that makes Kira stagger. The ancient arts weren't meant to be a weapon. They were meant to be a bridge between healing and protection. The battle reaches its crescendo as both women pour everything into their techniques. Maya feels her enhanced state failing, the price of her forbidden technique becoming critical. But she also sees what needs to be done. In their final exchange, Maya doesn't attack. Instead, she catches Kira's strike and redirects the crystal's corrupted energy back through specific meridian points. The Shadowlands Grandmaster freezes, her own power turned against her. "How?" Kira gasps as her enhanced state collapses. "A healer knows that sometimes you have to let the poison flow out on its own," Maya answers, her voice weak but triumphant. The Shadowlands warriors, seeing their leader defeated, begin to retreat. But Maya's victory comes at a terrible cost. As her enhanced state fades, she collapses, blood trickling from her nose and ears. Lyra catches her before she hits the ground. Commander Thane barks orders, securing the walls as their enemies flee. But Maya barely notices. Her consciousness is fading, the price of her forbidden technique coming due. "Get her to the healing chamber," someone shouts. As darkness closes in, Maya sees Mistress Chen appear from nowhere, kneeling beside her with various herbs and implements. The old woman's expression is both proud and concerned. "Rest now," Mistress Chen soothes. "You've done what needed to be done, but your journey isn't over. It's only beginning." Maya tries to respond, but unconsciousness claims her. Her last thought is of her father's journals and a line she never fully understood until now. The greatest power lies not in choosing between healing and harm, but in understanding why both are necessary. The battle is won, but Maya's transformation and its consequences are far from complete. Maya drifts in darkness for what feels like eternity. Visions flash through her mind, her father practicing secret techniques in their garden at dawn, Mistress Chen's knowing smile, Kira's face twisted in defeat. Through it all runs the sensation of qi flowing like rivers of light, patterns she can no longer ignore now that she's seen them. She wakes in her own healing chamber, the familiar scent of herbs filling the air. Mistress Chen sits beside her, grinding medicine with practiced motions. Lyra dozes in a corner, while Commander Thane stands guard at the door. 3 days, Mistress Chen answers before Maya can ask. "You've been unconscious for 3 days. The forbidden technique nearly burned out your entire chi network." Maya tries to sit up but falls back, her body feeling like lead. Even breathing sends sparks of pain through her meridian points. "The village?" "Secure," Commander Thane responds from his post. "The Shadowlands forces retreated to the eastern valleys. We've fortified the walls and implemented your pressure point defense techniques at every gate." Lyra stirs at their voices and rushes to Maya's bedside. "You saved us all," she says, squeezing Maya's hand. "But we thought we'd lost you. Even Mistress Chen wasn't sure you'd wake up." "The technique you used," Mistress Chen's voice carries a sharp edge, "was incomplete. Your father's journals describe the theory, but not the safeguards. You're lucky to be alive." Maya processes this as she examines her own qi network with her healer's senses. The damage is extensive. Blocked points, disrupted flows, areas of complete energetic darkness. "Will I recover?" "That depends," Mistress Chen responds cryptically, "on what you're willing to sacrifice for power." Before Maya can question this, Lord Darius enters the chamber. His proud stance remains, but something has changed in how he looks at Maya. Respect tempered with wariness. "The council has been discussing your role in the village," he announces without preamble. "Your actions saved us, but they also proved that these techniques are more dangerous than we imagined. Some want you to teach everything you know. Others want me gone," Maya finishes. She can feel the fear radiating from him. Not of her weakness now, but of her strength. "There's more," Commander Thane interjects. "We've received word that other villages are asking about our victory. They want to learn the techniques. The Shadowlands' monopoly on this knowledge is broken." Maya tries again to sit up, succeeding this time with Lyra's help. "Isn't that what we wanted? For the knowledge to be shared?" "Knowledge requires wisdom," Mistress Chen says sharply. "Look what it did to you with just a partial understanding. Imagine what others might do with these techniques." The weight of responsibility settles over Maya like a heavy cloak. She remembers the pure power she wielded during battle, how easy it would have been to do more than just incapacitate her enemies. The techniques she used could just as easily have stopped hearts, boiled blood, or shattered minds. "There's something else," Lyra adds hesitantly. "Some of the younger warriors, they're trying to replicate what you did. The forbidden technique. 3 have already hurt themselves attempting it." Maya closes her eyes, feeling the weight of her choices. She had wanted to prove she wasn't weak, to show that a healer's knowledge could be powerful. But at what cost? "The council needs your answer," Lord Darius presses. "Will you teach others? And if so, how can we trust you to control how this knowledge is used?" Before Maya can respond, she feels a shift in the qi flows around her. Her enhanced perception, though damaged, warns her of approaching danger. Multiple presences, moving with trained precision. "We have visitors," she announces, just as horns sound in the distance. Commander Thane rushes to the window. "Riders approaching, not Shadowlands, different insignias, representatives from other villages." "They're here for you," Mistress Chen states flatly. "Word of what you did is spread. They'll all want the power you demonstrated, whether they understand its price or not." Maya looks around the room. At Lyra's concern, Thane's vigilance, Lord Darius's conflicted expression, and Mistress Chen's knowing gaze. The path ahead splits again. She could try to control how this knowledge spreads, become a teacher and guardian of these arts. Or she could walk away, let the techniques fade back into mystery. But she remembers her father's words about bridges between healing and protection. Perhaps there's a third path, one that requires more wisdom than power. "Help me up," she tells Lyra. "If they want to learn, they should see exactly what these techniques cost. Sometimes the most important lesson is knowing when not to use your power." The visitors are approaching, and Maya must decide how much of her hard-won knowledge to share. The weak healer they once mocked has become something else entirely, but with that transformation comes responsibilities she's only beginning to understand. Maya stands before the assembled representatives in the Great Hall, her body still weak but her presence commanding. Delegates from 5 neighboring villages fill the chamber, their expressions ranging from awe to barely concealed greed. Behind them, her own villagers watch with mixed emotions, pride, fear, and uncertainty battling in their eyes. "You've all heard stories of our battle," Maya begins, her voice carrying to every corner. Tales of impossible techniques, of one woman standing against Shadowlands masters. Some of those stories are true, many are not. Before you ask for what you came here seeking, you need to understand the price. She rolls up her sleeves, revealing the dark lines tracing her meridian pathways, permanent scars from the forbidden technique. Several delegates gasp at the sight. The marks pulse faintly with residual energy, a visible reminder of power misused. "These techniques aren't just weapons to be added to your arsenal," she continues. "They're not tricks to make your warriors invincible. They're part of an ancient understanding that bridges healing and combat, and they exact a terrible cost when misused." A delegate from the mountain villages steps forward, his rich robes marking him as a man of influence. "We are willing to pay whatever price for power that could defeat the Shadowlands. Name your terms." Maya laughs, a sound devoid of humor. "You think I mean gold? Resources? Number the prices paid in life force, in chi, in the very essence of who you are." She gestures to 3 young warriors being treated in the corner, their bodies twisted from failed attempts to replicate her technique. "That's what happens when you reach for power without understanding." Mistress Chen, standing in the shadows, nods approvingly. But before Maya can continue, Commander Thane bursts into the hall. "Shadowlands forces are mobilizing again," he announces. "Larger numbers this time, and they're not just targeting us. They're moving against all border villages." The hall erupts in chaos. The delegates huddle together, their earlier bravado replaced by genuine fear. They've all heard what happened to villages that resisted the Shadowlands masters. "You see," the mountain delegate demands, "we need these techniques. We need weapons to fight them." "No," Maya's voice cuts through the panic. "What you need is understanding. The Shadowlands rose to power because they hoarded knowledge, turned healing arts into weapons of war. We can't defeat them by becoming them." She steps into the center of the hall, her chi network flaring visible despite her weakened state. "I will teach you, but not the way you want. Not techniques of war, but the true art, the balance between healing and harm, between power and wisdom. And if we refuse," another delegate challenges, "if we find our own ways to learn these powers?" Maya's eyes flash. With emotion almost too fast to follow, her fingers strike 3 points on the delegate's chest. He freezes, eyes wide with terror. The entire hall holds its breath. "I could stop your heart right now," Maya says softly. "Or I could redirect your chi to heal that old wound in your shoulder. Yes, I can sense it. That's what these techniques truly offer, the choice between healing and harm. but choice requires wisdom. She releases the delegate, who stumbles back, rubbing his chest. The message is clear. She won't be forced or coerced into teaching destructive techniques. Here is my offer. Maya addresses the entire hall. I will establish a school, not for warriors alone, but for healers too. Any village that wishes to learn must send both, those who would fight and those who would heal. They will learn together, understand both sides of the art. Only then will they be taught the more advanced techniques. Lord Darius steps forward. And what of those who would abuse this knowledge? Who would turn it to darkness as the Shadowlands did? Maya turns to face him, and for a moment, everyone sees not the gentle healer they once mocked, but a woman who faced down Shadowlands masters. Then they will answer to me. I won't repeat the mistakes of the past. This knowledge will be shared, but it will also be protected. She feels Mistress Chen's approval radiating from the shadows, understanding now why the old woman chose to teach her. The true power was never in the techniques themselves, but in the wisdom to know how they should be used. You have until tomorrow to decide, Maya tells the delegates. But know this, I won't teach anyone who seeks power alone. The ancient arts are about balance, about understanding the flow of life itself. Accept my terms or seek your weapons elsewhere. As the delegates withdraw to consider her offer, Maya feels the weight of her choices settling onto her shoulders. She has transformed from the weak healer they once mocked into something far more complex. A guardian of dangerous knowledge, a bridge between healing and harm, a teacher of balance in an unbalanced world. The true test of her strength is only beginning. By dawn the next day, 4 of the 5 villages have accepted Maya's terms. Only the mountain delegation refuses, departing with barely concealed hostility. Maya watches them go from her healing chamber window, knowing this won't be the last time she faces opposition to her vision. They'll cause trouble, Lyra says, helping Maya sort herbs for her lessons. The training grounds have been transformed into a makeshift school with areas dedicated to both healing and combat practice. Let them, Maya responds, her voice steady. Better they oppose us openly than twist these arts in secret. She pauses, sensing a familiar presence approaching. Commander Thane has news. The scarred warrior enters moments later, no longer surprised by Maya's ability to sense his coming. Shadowlands forces are gathering in greater numbers than before. But something's different this time. Tell me, Maya straightens, ignoring the pain that still shoots through her chi network. They're dividing their forces, Thane reports. Some march under Kira's banner, but others, they fly new colors. There's discord in their ranks. Maya exchanges glances with Mistress Chen, who has materialized from the shadows. The old woman nods gravely. The defeat of their grandmaster has shattered their unity. Some question the path of pure combat they've followed. Before they can discuss further, a commotion erupts in the courtyard. A lone figure in Shadowlands armor staggers through the gate, hands raised in surrender. Maya's enhanced senses detect severe chi disruption throughout their body. Guards surround the intruder, but Maya calls them off. Let them approach. The warrior removes their helmet, revealing a young woman with half-finished ritual scars. I am Senna, she announces, her voice weak. Once an apprentice to Mistress Kira, I come seeking healing. Maya examines her with both physical and chi senses. The woman's energy networks are chaotic, damaged by what appears to be failed attempts at advanced techniques. You tried to replicate my forbidden technique. Senna nods, shame crossing her features. After your victory, many of us began experimenting. Kira. She pushes us harder now, demands we find ways to match your power. But something went wrong. My chi networks are burning out. None of our masters can help. The hall falls silent. This is a test, Maya realizes, not just of her healing abilities, but of her principles. The woman before her is technically an enemy, one who would have happily killed her days ago. Help her, Mistress Chen says softly. Show them all what these arts truly mean. Maya gestures for her students, both healers and warriors, to gather round. Watch closely. This is why we learn both aspects of the art. Her fingers begin moving over Senna's meridian points, diagnosing and adjusting subtle energy flows. Your masters push too hard for power, Maya explains as she works, her audience listening intently. They forgot that combat techniques grow from healing knowledge. The same points that can disable an opponent can also restore balance. Over the next hour, she demonstrates the delicate process of rebuilding damaged chi networks. Her students observe in fascination as she combines healing techniques with the precise strikes they've been learning for combat. Finally, Senna takes a deep breath, color returning to her face. I can feel my chi flowing properly again. How did you? By understanding that power isn't about destruction, Maya answers. True strength comes from knowing when to heal and when to harm, and choosing wisely. Senna's eyes fill with tears. There are others, more like me. Kira's push for power is breaking us. Some want to leave, to find a different path. Maya shares a look with Lord Darius, who has been watching silently. He nods almost imperceptibly. Tell them they have a choice, Maya says. My school is open to any who wish to learn the complete art, both healing and combat, but they must accept that one cannot exist without the other. As Senna leaves to carry this message back, Maya turns to her assembled students. Remember this lesson. The techniques you're learning can shatter chi networks or repair them, can stop a heart or keep it beating. The choice of how to use this knowledge will define not just your power, but your humanity. Later, alone with Mistress Chen, Maya voices her deeper concerns. The mountain delegation, Kira's forces, those seeking power without understanding. This isn't over, is it? No, the old woman answers honestly. You've chosen a difficult path, teaching balance in a world that craves power. There will be resistance, violence, attempts to steal or corrupt what you're building here. Maya nods, having already accepted this truth. Then we'll face it together, not just as warriors or healers, but as those who understand both paths. She looks out over her school, where former enemies now train side by side, learning to both mend and break, to fight and to heal. The weak healer they once mocked has become something unprecedented. Not just a warrior or a teacher, but a bridge between ancient powers that should never have been separated. The true war, she realizes, isn't against the Shadowlands or mountain warriors. It's the eternal battle between those who seek power for its own sake and those who understand its deeper purpose. And she's chosen her side. 3 months pass as Maya's school grows, transforming the village into a center of learning. Warriors and healers from across the realm train together in the courtyard, while transformed Shadowlands deserters share their knowledge of advanced techniques. But with each passing day, reports of darkness gathering in the mountains become more frequent. One stormy evening, as Maya observes an advanced class practicing chi manipulation, Commander Thane arrives with grim news. The mountain delegation has formed an alliance with Kira's remaining forces. They're calling themselves the Blood Path, claiming they'll purify the ancient arts. Maya continues watching her students, noting how a former Shadowlands warrior guides a village healer through a complex defensive pattern. How many? Over 500 warriors, Thane reports. They've been raiding smaller villages, stealing scrolls and forcing practitioners to join them. Those who refuse? He trails off meaningfully. Die, Maya finishes. She turns to face him, her chi network pulsing visibly despite the permanent damage from her forbidden technique. They're trying to provoke us. Lyra joins them, her movements fluid after months of intensive training. The outer villages are asking for protection. They fear the Blood Path will target their healers next. Maya had expected this, had sensed the gathering storm in the chi patterns of messengers arriving, with increasingly desperate pleas for help. The Blood Path represents everything she's fought against. The hunger for power without wisdom, combat without healing, strength without mercy. Gather the council, she decides, and send word to our allied villages. They should hear this too. Hours later, the Great Hall fills with representatives from settlements across the realm. Maya stands before them, her presence commanding despite her slight frame. The marks of her forbidden technique pulse beneath her robes, a constant reminder of power's price. The Blood Path thinks they can force us to choose between combat and healing, she begins. They believe that by threatening our allies, they can make us abandon our principles and fight fire with fire. Then let's do exactly that, shouts a warrior from an allied village. We have the techniques now, let's use them. Maya silences him with a look. And become what we fight against? Number. We'll defend our allies, but we'll do it our way, with balance. She gestures to Senna, the former Shadowlands warrior who first sought healing. Show them what we've learned. Senna steps forward, demonstrating a new technique that combines defensive chi manipulation with healing energy. By understanding both aspects of the art, we can defend without destroying, protect without crippling. It's slower than pure combat techniques, but it doesn't leave a trail of broken bodies and shattered chi networks, Maya finishes. The blood path wants us to prove them right. To show that power inevitably corrupts, we'll prove them wrong instead. Lord Darius rises, his face troubled. Fine words, but will they protect our people? The blood path shows no such restraint. No, Maya agrees, which is why we'll meet their challenge directly. She turns to Commander Thane. How long until they can mobilize their full force? 2 weeks, maybe less. Maya nods. Then we have 2 weeks to prepare, not just for battle, but for something they'll never expect. Mercy. The hall erupts in discussion as Maya outlines her plan. It's dangerous, requiring perfect coordination between warriors and healers, but if it works, it will demonstrate the true power of the unified arts. Later, as her students train through the night, Mistress Chen appears beside Maya. You're planning something foolish, the old woman observes. Something necessary, Maya corrects. The blood path thinks power flows only one way, from strength to destruction. We'll show them all paths are connected. She watches as paired warriors and healers practice new techniques, their chi networks synchronizing in ways the ancient scrolls only hinted at. This is her true victory, not defeating the Shadowlands masters, but creating something new from the ashes of the old ways. They'll come for you personally, Mistress Chen warns. Kira won't have forgotten her defeat. Good, Maya's eyes flash with determination. Because I haven't forgotten what these arts are truly for. My father didn't die trying to reunite healing and combat just for us to let them be torn apart again. She touches the scars on her chi network, feeling the damaged pathways that mark her brush with forbidden techniques. The blood path seeks that kind of power, destructive, consuming, ultimately empty. She'll show them a different way, even if it costs her everything. Prepare the outer defenses, she tells Commander Thane. But not just barriers and weapons. I want healing stations, chi restoration points, everything we've developed. When the blood path comes, they'll find something they've never encountered before. Power tempered by compassion, strength guided by wisdom. The storm is coming, but this time Maya isn't the weak healer trying to prove herself. She's become something more. A bridge between traditions, a guardian of balance, and perhaps the only one who can prevent the ancient arts from being forever twisted into weapons of pure destruction. The true battle for the soul of these techniques is about to begin. The Blood Path army arrives at dawn, their forces spreading across the eastern valley like a dark tide. Maya stands atop the village walls, watching as Kira and the mountain delegation leader ride forward under a blood-red banner. Her enhanced senses detect the corrupted chi emanating from their forces, hundreds of warriors pushing their energy networks to breaking points in pursuit of power. They've done something to their own people, Maya tells Commander Thane, who stands beside her. Modified the forbidden technique somehow. Their warriors' chi networks are wrong. Through the morning mist, Maya sees the truth of her words. The Blood Path warriors move with unnatural speed, their chi networks blazing with unstable energy. Many bear the same dark mark she carries, but twisted, forced rather than earned. Kira's voice carries across the battlefield, magically enhanced by corrupted chi techniques. Surrender the knowledge you've hoarded, Maya of Ravenspire. Your experiment in weakness ends today. Maya steps forward, her own voice clear and steady. Look around you, Kira. What do you see? Along the walls, Maya's students stand in paired formations, warriors and healers together, their chi networks synchronized in patterns that would have been impossible months ago. In the courtyard behind them, more pairs maintain energy circles, ready to support their companions. I see traitors and weaklings, Kira spits, those who water down the ancient arts with foolish notions of balance. Then you see nothing, Maya responds. She raises her hand, signaling her forces to demonstrate. All along the wall, paired warriors and healers move in perfect unison, their combined chi creating visible patterns of protective energy. Impossible, the mountain delegation leader mutters, but Maya's enhanced senses catch his words. This is what the ancient arts were meant to be, Maya projects her voice across the battlefield. Not divided, not corrupted, but whole. One last time, Kira, join us. Learn the true path. Kira's response is a savage battle cry. The blood path forces surge forward, their enhanced warriors moving with terrifying speed. But Maya is ready. Hold formation, she commands. Remember your training. The battle that follows is unlike anything the realm has seen before. When bloodpath warriors strike with corrupted chi techniques, Maya's paired defenders respond with synchronized defense and healing. Attacks that would have shattered chi networks are absorbed, redirected, and even transformed. Maya moves along the walls, supporting her forces where needed. She sees Lyra and her healer partner perfectly counter 3 bloodpath warriors, disabling them without causing permanent damage. Commander Thane, paired with a young healer named Sarah, protects an entire section of wall through integrated techniques Maya developed. But the bloodpath's numbers and enhanced power take their toll. Some of Maya's defenders fall, overwhelmed by the sheer force of corrupted chi attacks. The bloodpath starts breaching the walls in multiple locations. Maya! Lyra shouts in warning. Through the chaos, Maya sees Kira approaching, her chi network burning with unnatural power. The mountain delegation leader flanks her along with their elite guards. You should have joined us, Kira snarls, her ritual scars glowing with corrupted energy. Look at the power you rejected. Maya stands her ground, Mistress Chen's training echoing in her mind. I see what that power costs, Kira. Your own chi network is consuming itself. Power requires sacrifice. No, Maya corrects, shifting into a defensive stance. Power requires understanding. The clash between them shakes the very air. Kira's corrupted techniques strike with incredible force, but Maya sees the flaws in her approach. Every attack frays her opponent's chi network further, burning away her life force for momentary strength. Maya doesn't attack. Instead, she flows through defensive forms, letting Kira exhaust herself against perfect technique. Around them, the battle continues, but Maya maintains her focus. Fight back! Kira screams in frustration, her attacks becoming wilder. I am fighting, Maya responds calmly. I'm fighting to save you from yourself. With precise movements, Maya begins weaving healing energy into her defense. Each time Kira strikes, Maya's techniques not only block but attempt to rebalance the corrupted chi flows. The mountain delegation leader recognizes what's happening and tries to intervene, but Lyra and Commander Thane hold him back. What are you doing to me? Kira stumbles, her enhanced power flickering. Showing you the truth, Maya answers, maintaining her pattern. Power without healing destroys itself. Strength without wisdom falls to its own weight. Kira launches one final desperate attack. Maya catches it with a healer's precision, channeling the corrupted energy through her own chi network and returning it purified. Kira collapses, her body racked with tremors as years of damaged chi flows begin to rebalance. The mountain delegation leader, seeing his ally fall, calls for retreat. The bloodpath forces withdraw in chaos, many of their enhanced warriors falling as their unstable chi networks collapse. Maya kneels beside her fallen opponent, her fingers moving to stabilize Kira's critically damaged energy paths. The woman who tried to destroy her now lies helpless, in desperate need of healing. Why? Kira whispers as Maya works. Why help me after everything? Because this is what true power means, Maya answers, her students gathering to watch and learn. The strength to heal even those who would harm us, the wisdom to break the cycle of destruction. The weak healer they once mocked has become the strongest of them all, not through force, but through understanding. As she tends to her fallen enemy, Maya demonstrates the final truth of the ancient arts. That ultimate power lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the choice to heal. A year has passed since the Battle of Balanced Chi, as the scribes now call it. Maya stands in the central courtyard of what has become the unified Academy of Ancient Arts, watching students from across the realm practice paired techniques. The once small village has transformed into a center of learning, where the barriers between healing and combat no longer exist. Kira, her ritual scars now faded, demonstrates healing techniques to a group of former bloodpath warriors. Her recovery became a symbol of transformation, proof that even the most corrupted chi could be rebalanced with proper understanding. Though she still carries the shame of her past choices, she's found a new purpose in teaching others to avoid her mistakes. "The afternoon advanced class is ready for you," Lyra announces, approaching Maya. Her friend has become the Academy's combat instructor, working seamlessly with healers to develop new integrated techniques. Maya nods, but pauses as her enhanced senses detect a familiar presence. They're not the only ones waiting. Commander Thane appears, leading a group of village representatives. "More requests for training," he reports. "Word of our success continues to spread." "And with it responsibility," Maya responds, touching the scars on her chi network, permanent reminders of power's price. These marks no longer pain her, having become badges of wisdom rather than symbols of sacrifice. In her private chamber later, Maya reviews the scrolls where she documents new discoveries. The integration of healing and combat has led to breakthroughs the ancient masters never imagined. Paired practitioners can now achieve effects that were once thought impossible, all while maintaining the balance between power and wisdom. Mistress Chen materializes from the shadows, as is her way. "You've succeeded beyond any expectations," the old woman observes. "The ancient arts are whole again." "Not just whole," Maya corrects, "but evolving." Every day, our students discover new applications, new ways to combine healing and combat knowledge. She rises and walks to the window, looking out over the training grounds. Former enemies now practice side by side, Shadowlands warriors learning healing arts, village healers mastering combat techniques, all understanding that true strength requires both. There will always be those who seek power without wisdom, Mistress Chen warns. The blood path may be defeated, but others will rise. "Let them," Maya responds with quiet confidence. "We'll face them as we faced Kira. Not with pure force, but with understanding. The weak healer they mocked has become a teacher of balance, and her legacy will outlive any who seek to corrupt these arts." In the courtyard below, a new group of students arrives. Maya sees the same mix of hope and uncertainty in their eyes that she once carried. Some come seeking power, others healing knowledge, but all will learn the truth she discovered. That ultimate strength lies in understanding the connection between both. "Your father would be proud," Mistress Chen says softly. "He sought to rebuild the bridge between these arts. You've built something even greater, a new path forward." Maya touches the journal she still carries, its pages now filled with her own discoveries alongside her father's notes. The ancient arts were never meant to be weapons or mere healing techniques. They were meant to teach us about life itself, about balance, wisdom, and the power of choice. As the sun sets over the academy, Maya prepares to meet her new students. She is no longer the timid healer seeking to prove her worth, nor the warrior who mastered forbidden techniques. She has become something more, a guardian of knowledge, a teacher of balance, a living bridge between traditions once thought forever separated. The weak healer they mocked has transformed not just herself, but the very understanding of power in their realm. And as she looks out over her legacy, Maya knows that this is merely the beginning. The true power of the ancient arts lies not in any single technique or ability, but in the wisdom to choose healing over harm, understanding over force, and balance over destruction. In the end, she proved that the greatest strength comes not from rejecting weakness, but from understanding that true power lies in the balance between all aspects of life. And that legacy will endure long after the scars of battle fade into legend. "Come," she tells Mistress Chen. Let's show our new students what real power looks like. Together, they descend to the courtyard, ready to continue teaching the lesson Maya learned through blood, chi, and wisdom. That the path to true strength lies not in domination, but in understanding the delicate balance between healing and harm, between power and restraint, between the warrior and the healer within us all. The weak healer they once mocked has become the strongest of them all, not through force, but through wisdom. And her story will be told as long as there are those who seek to understand the true meaning of power. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.